What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why Dewey is such a protector in Scream 5. So this is something that I've been wondering ever since, really actually since when we heard about filming. You know, he was kind of like one of the first people on set, along with, you know, the younger cast. And it almost felt like when Nev got on, on set, which wasn't all that long, granted, it just seemed like he wasn't there, which maybe is a sign of what happens to him in the movie. But then we see the trailer, and he's definitely got this. And I don't even know if you want to call it a stereotype, because I actually think it's a really well done thing. I think it's like a cool thing that a character kind of goes through whenever they go through this kind of arc where, he's kind of down in the dumps, right? He's had maybe a rough couple of years, whatever, which, again, all these things I want to talk about in the video. And he has some sort of, something happens, right? Where they feel like, I can stop this, I can help, I can protect, I can do, X, Y, Z. And they maybe go a little bit too far to putting themselves in danger, and that can result in a couple things happening, all of that stuff. And that's really, again, it's a stereotype because I can say what I just said. You know what I mean? We've seen that blueprint with other characters, but we really haven't seen it all that much with, obviously in Scream actually at all. So I really like it. I like what they're doing with Dewey. I'm not saying this is a bad idea, but I want to talk about why he's like that. And I think what we can kind of infer immediately, right, is that him and Gail are no longer together. That has been kind of speculated on and off over the last little while. But even in the trailer, if you don't want to believe speculation, that's totally cool. But even if you look at the trailer, right, he looks down in the dumps. You know what I mean? He's like, the way they were presenting him physically is that, yeah, he's not doing great when he's calling Sydney, which I saw people saying, like, maybe that's not even how that phone call plays out. You know what I mean? Because the whole trailer is kind of based off of them doing, misleading us. So maybe that's not exactly even how the phone call plays out. But what we can tell is, again, I mean, he's like graying, he's growing like his facial hair out, which maybe normally he would not do that besides like his mustache. He doesn't look like he's like, he doesn't look like his normal self, right? He also looks like he's in a very not great looking, apartment or condo or townhouse, maybe if he's living large. He doesn't look like he's doing all that great living wise either. So it very much seems like obviously he's not with Gail, which sucks. It really sucks, because I think 3, one of the best parts in 3 is actually the very, very end when he proposes in a really cute, like Dewey-like way. And then in 4, that kind of strained relationship, but ends up becoming like a really solid one at the end. I love it. I actually really, really love what they did there in terms of straining it, but kind of resolving it, or at least settling it towards the end. So it does suck. So basically what I'm saying is some of the things that I guess would get him here is that relationship falling apart, right? So Gail's gone, whether it's because, they just keep having these disagreements of what she's doing versus what he's doing, or, whatever. Like, it seems like he's retired, right? He's not the sheriff anymore. So you have those things. And then these attacks start happening, right? And again, attacks is an important word because he doesn't say kills, he says attacks. Now, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe nobody's telling him. So maybe there are kills in there, but all he knows is that they are attacks. Now, it doesn't fully explain, it does to a fair extent, why he would want to protect or explain the rules, right, to this new group of people. I guess the things that would connect him with wanting to do this again is the fact of what, Sam says in the trailer, where like all of these killings are related to people, or are on people that are related to the original killer. So that probably strikes a light bulb, in him, that like, okay, this is all connected back to the beginning. Probably why we need to get Sydney involved, so I should make a phone call, right? Now, again, we don't know the order. I'm just saying, like, these are probably things he's also maybe figured out. We need to get Sydney involved for whatever reason, but also, like, I need to come out of retirement, or I need to do whatever so I can protect these kids. Another thing that I think would be cooler. So there's 2 things that I don't think have necessarily been talked about too much, but I think would be really cool for them to explore, is almost his failure at protecting anybody. And that sounds very, harsh on the guy, right? And I love Dewey. I mean, Dewey is an amazing, amazing character consistently throughout these movies. But, and his klutziness and his inability to actually do things very successfully is part of his character. But if they play off of that in this movie, right, as a character, where it's like, I've failed, like, consistently, I need to be rescued, Sydney needs to help, or, I've never actually, no, he did technically kill Roman, but Sydney told him to shoot in the head, right? So, like, but he's never really been able to do all that much successfully, and maybe that's like waned on him, you know what I mean? Maybe that makes him feel bad, so now he has a chance where it's like, I'm not gonna fail again, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna figure. Now he is an important part of like figuring stuff out and like, you know, putting the pieces together, with whether it's you know, alone or with Gale or with Sydney or with all three of them, you know, so he is, you know, pretty solid at that. But like to do it maybe on his own, to go rogue, maybe these are like very brutal, obviously they kind of seem brutal, so maybe he doesn't want like Gale anywhere near it, even though they're, you know, they're not together. Maybe he feels some sort of like, I'm not allowing this to happen again. And that, in a sense, even as like sheriff in 4, I wish they kind of played that out a little bit more. They kind of did with his like back and forth with any police officer that was in that movie, but just kind of like, these things are happening under your watch, and you know, I don't blame you, but they're happening. Bad things are happening. You're the sheriff, and so you're in a way responsible, you know, for the safety. You are responsible for the safety, so you are kind of responsible for what's going on. I like that, and they didn't really play that too much in 4, but I really want them to here, where it's like he's not even sheriff anymore, and he's like, this stops. I'm done with this stuff. I need to have these kids be, not kids, but you know, but I want them to be protected. Like, I'm going to protect them no matter what it takes. I'm gonna go rogue and take out Ghostface by myself if I need to, and that's, you know, that's tough. That's how he gets in that hospital situation, I would imagine. He goes rogue. You never should go, you know, anywhere alone. Even if you do have a gun in this movie, you shouldn't go anywhere alone. He knows that. Everybody knows that. But yet he does it anyway. And honestly, I kind of like it, because it's not him being stupid. It's not like a, you know, a brainless horror trope where it's like a character goes in alone. It's like character motivated. You know what I mean? That's actually the cop out, you know, to get past that, is that he needs to do this. And I actually would back that. I would understand that. So, you know, I think that's how he gets to the hospital. That's how he probably is also going because he knows Ghostface is there attacking, whether it's Tara or, you know, trying to finish the job or whatever is going on. There's, I'm sure, other reasons too, but like why he's alone, right? The other reason, and this is one that I have thrown out in passing in videos, but I do want to just bring up to end this video, is the Meeks children. So we have Mindy Meeks and we have Chad, right? And Chad Meeks. So their last name, I believe it's like Meeks Martin, right? So they are in some fashion related, at least to Randy. You'd imagine that's why Martha is in the movie. I would imagine, so his sister, right, Martha, she's probably the mom, and then they have a dad, right? Well, maybe not, right? But I think that's how you bring Martha in. I think that's why she's in it, and she probably won't be in it like very long at all, or maybe even just mentioned by name, although like the actress is on the listing. I don't know. I honestly don't know how they would do that, but the point is it connects in some way to Randy. I think that's actually the most important part, and I have seen people bring this up as well, not just even me thinking it. When I go back to the whole, you know, Dewey not let these things happen, but these things happened in front of him with him being unable to, you know, stop it. One of them was Randy's death, right? One of the main sins, besides killing him off, if you believe that is a sin in the first place, right, is really the reaction of any characters to that. So obviously, like, you have the petrified look by Dewey and Gale. Sydney did really good. Like, I think Neve Campbell sold it on, like, she was really, really sad about it. Then in, like, 3, you know, they see him again, and Sydney kind of plays off of that in, like, an emotionally sad way where it's like, you know, I'm like, you know, she's sorry and she's sad that he's no longer there, right? But they, you know, and I like those scenes, but they really didn't do anything more with them. And I think they easily could have, and they just didn't for whatever reason. This is their chance. To me, this is their chance at not even, like, physically seeing on his face, you know, sadness, but knowing as a character, like in his heart, that he knows, like, Randy died in that, you know, in the campus yard or whatever, right? Not under his watch again. Like, it's hard to say those things, but kind of, right? Because they're searching. They didn't do a good enough job. They didn't find the killer in time. Randy ended up dying, and nobody was there to save him. Now you have these kids, which are in some way related to Randy. So in my opinion, I don't know this for sure. I mean, it could be any of the other reasons I said, right? Some sort of redemption thing in his mind where, like, he sees this as a road back. Some sort of, like, I've had enough of this kind of stuff. Some sort of connection to the original killers where he feels inclined, like, I have to step up because this is related to Billy and Stu in some way. I was around for that. I let them, you know, I watched as they killed these people. They attacked me. So, like, you know, you could have any of those things. Those are, like, 3 different options, right? And they could be a series, or they could be, like, a combination of that. But the fourth option is maybe those kids in particular. Now, the sad thing is, I think both of them are as good as gone. I really do. I know people will say, well, you're not going to show the kills in the trailer. And as I've always said, I agree. And I don't necessarily think we see their full death in the trailer. But you have to remember this is a Scream movie. You have to remember that maybe like 10 to 15, maybe 20% of the cast survives these, okay? So you have this huge, long cast. Amber, Liv, Sam, Tara, Richie, like all of these kids. There's gonna be a lot of people that die. It's going to happen. So I just feel like Chad and Mindy are goners. I do believe that. So which actually sucks at the end of the day, because like maybe he wants to protect them in particular, and then they're friends with all these other people, and he kind of takes them all in, right? So we'll have to see. But I like that idea where it can kind of play out where it's like, I wasn't there to save your uncle, right? Because I think they would be his uncle. I wasn't there to save your uncle, but like I'm going to do my best to protect you. Easy kind of thing, can kind of throw in. It doesn't have to be the main reason, but it could be a reason. Maybe it's we don't know, but maybe that has something to do with it. So those are all the reasons I would imagine that he would take on this protector role. And again, it's going to get him into danger. And I was okay with him dying like 5-6 months ago. In fact, I made videos saying out of the three, he is the one I'd be most okay with. I still think that. I think out of the three main, like the OGs, he would be the least painful to watch be killed, in the movie. But at the same time, I like now looking at it, I really like. I just love him so much, right? I love that character so much. I don't want him to die, but it's a movie where that stuff can happen, and that's why we love the movies so much, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Why do you think Dewey is working so hard to protect these people? What do you think happens to him? All of that stuff. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all of these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter or subscribe to my second YouTube channel or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.